It's a Monday morning in July 2026. A man sits down, picks up his phone, and starts typing. He types 881 words. Then he presses post. And one line stands out. You were so consumed by hate and criticism that you missed it all. Now, this man is not a politician. He's not a celebrity fighting with trolls. He is the president of FIFA. He runs world football. And just 9 days before this post, he closed the biggest, richest World Cup ever played. $15 billion. So here's the question. The man just won. Why is he so angry? This story isn't really about an angry letter. It's about a trick that's been working for 50 years. Every time the World Cup gets bigger, one man's job gets safer. Let's start with the plan. Infantino wants the 2030 World Cup to have 64 teams. That's not a small change. It means around 128 matches. It means more than a quarter of all the countries on Earth would be at the same tournament. And almost everyone who runs football hates the idea. The boss of European football called it a bad idea for everyone. The boss of Asian football warned it would turn the World Cup into chaos. His words. Because if 64 is fine, why not 132? Even the region that just hosted the World Cup said no. So that should be the end of it, right? Well, no. Because the people who run football are not the people who vote. To understand that, we have to leave 2026 and meet a Brazilian businessman. This is Stanley Rouse. In 1974, he was the president of FIFA. English, in his 80s, and very old school. For him, football's real home was Europe. The World Cup had 16 teams, and most of them came from Europe and South America. Whole continents were basically locked out. Africa boycotted the 1966 World Cup because Africa, Asia, and Oceania had to fight for one single spot. One. But while Rouse looked backwards, the world was changing fast. Countries across Africa and Asia were becoming independent. And every new country meant a new football federation. Africa's confederation grew from just 4 members to 37. And a Brazilian businessman named João Havelange saw what nobody else saw. He flew around the world, over 80 countries, shaking hands, making promises. More World Cup places for Africa and Asia. More money, more respect. Because at FIFA, there's one rule that changes everything. Every country gets one vote. Brazil gets one vote. West Germany gets one vote. And a tiny island most people can't find on a map also gets one vote. In 1974, Havelange beat Rouse, and football's center of power moved from the pitch to the map. And Havelange paid his debts. In 1982, the World Cup jumped from 16 teams to 24. The new places went mostly to Africa, Asia, and North America. Critics said the football would get watered down. Sound familiar? Then in 1998, it grew again to 32. Same complaints. Nobody stopped it. And Havelange stayed president for 24 years. His successor, Sepp Blatter, learned the lesson perfectly. He sent development money to small federations all over the world. New pitches, new offices, new programs. Those federations stayed loyal. And Blatter stayed in power for 17 years, through scandal after scandal. Then in 2016, FIFA collapsed into the biggest corruption scandal in sports history. Blatter was banned. FIFA needed a clean start. And the man who stepped up was Gianni Infantino. His big campaign promise? You guessed it. A bigger World Cup. He promised 40 teams. He won. And then he delivered even more. 48 teams. Approved in 2017. One Asian football official said the expansion reeks of money. But it went through anyway. And in 2026, we saw the result. 104 matches, 3 host countries, and the richest World Cup in history. FIFA even took a cut of up to 15% from each side of every ticket resale. Remember that angry letter from the start? This is the tournament it was defending. So now let's talk about how the machine actually works. FIFA has 211 member countries. That's more than the United Nations. And FIFA sends money to every single one of them. Up to $8 million per federation over 4 years, whether they qualify for a World Cup or not. Who keeps that money flowing? The president they elect. Now add expansion. Most of FIFA's 211 members will never win a World Cup. Many will never even play in one. So when experts say a bigger World Cup means weaker football, those countries simply don't care. They're not voting for the quality of the football. They're voting for a seat at the table. For them, expansion isn't the problem. Expansion is the whole point. The bosses of European and Asian football hate this plan. But here's the catch. Bosses don't elect the FIFA president. Federations do. And that brings us back to today. The 2030 World Cup is already a giant. 6 host countries on 3 continents, and all 6 qualify automatically. This summer's World Cup gave people plenty to question. A US president phoned FIFA about a red card, and the ban disappeared. Fans sued over ticket prices. And when people pointed these things out, Infantino called it hate. Now Infantino wants to push the World Cup to 64 teams. And next year, in 2027, FIFA elects its president again. Reports say more than 200 of the 211 federations already support him. He has won his last 2 elections without a single opponent. Nobody even runs against him anymore. When Infantino defends his plan, he says something that sounds beautiful. Every nation should be allowed to dream. But listen to that line again, knowing what you know now. Because for 50 years at FIFA, dreams have been currency. More countries in the World Cup means more countries that owe you one. The World Cup isn't just a tournament. It's a ballot box. And right now, one man is winning it. About 200 votes to 11. So, what do you think? Is a bigger World Cup good for football? Or just good for one man? Tell me below. And if you like stories like this one, subscribe. There's a new one every week.